What is up, YouTube? EOS here, back at it again. Do you want to know what I love? Data science. Do you want to know what I love even more than data science? Winning. Let's use data science to win. All right, guys, let's go over the Monty Hall problem. So let's say we're on a game show and we're about to win a car, but the only catch is the car is behind three doors. So the car could be behind door one, the car could be behind door two, and the car could be behind door three. Well, we don't know where the car is, but we're going to have to pick a door to see where the car is. So let's say we pick a random door. After we pick a door, the host is going to pick a door that a car is not behind. So after we pick, let's say we pick the first door, the host is going to cut a door where the car does not exist in. So the host, let's say the host cuts the second door. Now, you either have the option to switch doors or stay at the door that you're currently at. It seems like a 50-50 shot, right? But it turns out that if you pick the door that you stayed at, you only win 1/3 of the time, and if you switch, you end up winning 2/3 of the time. It's a little bit tricky, but let's try to figure this out. So, the difficult thing about the Monty Hall problem is it makes you feel like you're picking between two doors the entire time, but in reality, you're picking between three. Above me, I listed all the outcomes of the Monty Hall problem. So let's take a little peek. All right. So let's say you pick door one and the car happens to be behind door one. Well, in that case, you should stay. But if the car is behind door two or the car is behind door three, you should switch in both of those scenarios. So in the three outcomes that we can have, two of them should be switching and one of them should be staying. So 1/3 of the time you should stay and 2/3 of the time you should switch. If we look at door two and door three, we see the same thing. We should switch twice and we should stay once. If you add up all the observations, you get 9 observations. And if you add up all the times you should stay 3 times. 3 over 9 is 1/3. If you do the same thing with switching, you add up all the times you should switch and you add up all the observations, you get 6 times you should switch over 9 total outcomes, which means 6/9 or 2/3. So 2/3 of the time you should switch and 1/3 of the time you should stay. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. EOS, how can we win using data science? How can we win the car using data science? Well, if you don't think this logic is enough, we can actually go in R and simulate this game as many times as the computer allows us before it breaks. So what I did to simulate the Monty Hall game is I actually made a function to play the Monty Hall game one time, and then I made a loop so we could play the Monty Hall game as many times as we wanted to, and then I stored the output somewhere so we could graph it. So I'm not going to go super in depth on the code this time, but I will be posting this on my GitHub, but I'll take you through a general overview. We made a simulate mh1 function. This basically means we're simulating the game one time. Okay, now we're taking the user door, we're taking switch, and we're taking number of doors in as parameters. Okay, that's going to be very important for later. So we're going to go through this entire function, and the output of this function is going to be a true or false value. So true means that they win the game, and false means that they lose the game. So we're going to store that in a vector here in our output vector. Now, we're going to loop 10,000 times. So that means we're running this function here. We're doing it 10,000 times. So we're basically playing the Monty Hall game 10,000 times. And we're going to store our output as basically a game where the user picks a random number or a random door between 1 and 3, and they switch every time no matter what. So we're using the sample function here as the user door input, and basically all that means is we're taking one value from a random number between 1 and 3. That's what the sample function means. We're setting switch to true, meaning that they're going to switch, and number of doors is staying 3. It's going to stay 3 no matter what. And then basically this just counts how many are true. This is our bar plot, so we're going to plot the results. And I can even show you, we can run it right now. All right, so as you see, we ran it 10,000 times, and it looks like we're winning way more than we're losing. I'm actually going to move my face cam, And if you can see this variable here, I'm actually going to zoom in. We have a variable called win proportion. Now that variable is 0.67. That means we're winning 0.67%, which is very, very close to 2/3. We can keep running the simulation. And remember, every time I run this simulation, we're playing 10,000 more games of the Monty Hall problem. And as you see, the win proportion is very, very close to 66%, about 67%, but you can see that the user is winning 2/3 of the time if they switch the door. We can set this to be false as well. So let's say that the user does not want to switch. So every time we play this game, the user is going to pick the door and stay at that door every single time. So we'll switch this to false, and then we'll see how this affects our win proportion. You can see here where it's a lot more red. A lot more red, and our win proportion is actually very close to 33%. So as you can see, even if we don't switch, we're still losing. So basically like 66% win, 33% loss. So you want to be switching. You want to be winning that car. Unless you don't like cars, then you probably want to stick to the door you picked. So this value is being stored in an output vector, and we can type in the output vector just so you can see kind of how this data is being interpreted. So this is what our output vector looks like. I'll even expand it here. So our output vector is true. That means a game was won. False, game lost, loss, loss, loss. Now, if you're a statistician, if you're a data scientist, you don't want to be looking at a whole mess of true and falses and just count them up. This is why graphing is so important, so you can visually get all this information quickly. All right, guys, thank you so much for making it through the video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Absolutely smash that notification bell as always. I'm trying to upload more frequently. My semester's over, so I can finally upload more videos. I'm really excited about uploading more videos. I'm gonna try to upload weekly, and I want to make a short every other day. Now, is that attainable for me? Probably not, but I'm gonna try my hardest. I have a lot more videos planned, and I'm really excited about them, and so I really hope you guys can just maybe take the time, just watch them, leave a like, even leave a dislike. I don't care. I think that's kind of good for the algorithm anyways. But yeah, anyway, see you in the next one.